if you're looking to save money on your energy bill, solar energy may be the answer you're looking for. And our next guest says Nevada is one of the top U.S. states for solar energy production. Joining us now is owner of Bob's Repair, Frederick Prandecki. Welcome, Frederick.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Of course, it's great to have you back. So let's kind of dive into this question on solar, right? Because
Yes.
it is a question on a lot of people's minds. We're talking more efficiency, what's great for the environment, those kinds of things. But there's a lot of questions around it. So why do you think solar is growing the way that it is?
Well, I would say the biggest reason is Nevada is the second best state in the United States for sun. So we get a lot of sun. So like our solar panels are getting about 2 to 2.5 kilowatts per day. That's a lot. When you start going to the East Coast or Europe, these panels are getting half that production. So more sun equals more energy and less money.
Well, we definitely have sun here.
Yes.
Our summer can tell us that for sure. Now, for solar, I mean, is this for everyone? Who's the ideal person to have it? Is it who should be looking into this?
Well, there's a lot of options with going with solar. A lot of homeowners should consider it. You can go the financing route, which there's long-term financing plans, and then when we're giving bids or proposals, we're always seeing that monthly financing fee to be lower than their energy bill. But another route, which is great, also is just paying outright, and then you're seeing about 7 to 8 years back of a payoff. So after 7 years, you're off. Your energy dependence is on the grid is 0%, and that's huge because we're consistently seeing those energy rates increasing.
Absolutely. Now, the first thing people tend to go to when they're thinking about going solar is expense. They're like,
Correct.
Yikes, how am I supposed to do this? So how do you sort of tackle those concerns?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm seeing the energy going up 60% in the last 2 years. So if you look at your investment for solar, with that payoff being 7 years, it's really kind of a no-brainer. And the reason why is if you can't pay for it outright, there's a lot of financing options. I know interest rates are still they're a little bit higher, but still with the interest rates, it makes financial sense to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you're starting to think about going solar, what are some things to keep in mind when you're trying to see what works for you?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing is to see, who do you want to go with? I mean, a local company is always going to be more affordable. There's going to be less middlemen. And then if I'm going with a company, the first thing I always want to do is get 3 bids. Always get 3 bids, no matter who you know. And then you want to go with a licensed contractor, a contractor that has, a great reputation, right? And then, just kind of price it out. Like for us, it's about $2.70 a watt, $2.75. We're seeing a lot of our competitors at 3.5. And then, the higher you're paying, the longer it takes to pay it off. Even with all this sun, it's good to be competitive. But we're seeing a lot of, companies going out of business. There's these fly-by-night companies. And so you have to be very careful who you go with. We're a local company. We're almost here 10 years. And our warranties are going to be here to stay. I'm getting maybe 2, 3, 4 calls a day saying, hey, my panels don't work. The company I went with went out of business. Can you help us? That's another thing I tell customers, like, hey, call us. We'll come out there. We'll give you an evaluation.
Absolutely. Now, before we go, give us some personal feedback from customers that you've had that maybe have, been, doing the traditional way and now they go solar. What do they say?
Well, one thing I'm seeing a lot is people are complaining how high their energy bill is, and a lot of my customers are relieved. And I have to say that we're very affordable. And I get these text messages like, "Hey, my bill is only $13," because that's how much they charge you, a month minimum, opposed to that $200, $300, $400.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, I speak to a lot of customers who unfortunately kind of got, I want to say scammed, but they overpaid.
Right.
And that payoff time is 35 years, and it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I mean, I have a whole list of customers who are extremely ecstatic.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. Well, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate
Of course. Bob's Repair is located on Sylvester Lane. For more information on their services, head to bobsrepair.com, and to receive your solar estimate, email solar@bobsrepair.com.